Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are back with another brand new Mattel Jurassic World release. As you can see, we've got a Danger Pack figure. This is the Rauisuchus, and this is a figure, honestly, I've been so looking forward to. I would say the Danger Pack I was most looking forward to when it comes to the Chaos Theory figures, and of course it would end up being in Wave 2, which means I had to wait a little bit to get a hold of this one, but I'm so happy it is now out on the market and showing up in different Walmarts, which is exactly where I found mine. Somehow I still haven't found the Dimorphodon, but I found this. I don't get that. But you can see the figure again looks quite nice. It's your standard when it comes to the packaging that you usually get when it comes to the Mattel Danger Packs, and you can see here on the back again a shot of everything you would find in this wave, which honestly what I would say is probably the best of what we've had released so far when it comes to the Chaos Theory Danger Packs, except for, of course, we also have a Dimorphodon, which isn't super exciting, but it's okay, I guess. So let's go ahead, pop this out of the box, and check it out. So here is our figure, and man, I must say, this thing is gorgeous. Like, when it comes to this and any similar species that Mattel has created in the past, I think this has got to be my favorite. Like, it is absolutely beautiful when it comes to the sculpt. It's also, I would say, the closest to what the animal actually looks like compared to any of the previous similar species that Mattel has released, so that's a plus as well. And it also has a really nice color scheme to it, and, you know, paint from head to tail, which is also really nice. So definitely excited about this one. Let's go ahead, jump to a closer look, and we'll check it out from there. So starting up here at the head sculpt, you can see it's got some pretty nice looking skin texture, really bumpy, scaly skin texture that we have going on for this one. You can also see we've got a brown coloration for the majority of the face, but it also has a green kind of around the eye and up over the top of the head. But I like that within the brown, you can kind of see the green underneath as the brown kind of breaks up there in the palate area, and kind of, you know, you can see the green under there. You can also see the nostrils sculpted out right there, which looks really nice. The eye is painted with an orange, and it looks like maybe the pupil is just the greenish color. Doesn't look like it's an actual black pupil or anything, but I think that looks okay. I don't think that takes away from the figure at all. Of course, we've got ourselves an articulated jaw, which, as you can see, if you open it too far, the skin then disconnects. So if we place it right about there, I think that's pretty good. And you can see the teeth are sculpted pretty decently, honestly. They definitely don't look half bad. They look a lot better than a lot of the older Mattel figures' teeth did. But again, they're not perfect, of course. I'd really like to see them start to implement that softer material that flexes the teeth so the teeth can look sharper on smaller figures like this. But it still looks okay. You can see they're painted with kind of like an off-white bordering on a light yellow. You do have a pinkish tone for the inside of the mouth. You can see the tongue is sculpted and painted in there. And you don't have any coloration for the inside of the mouth on the upper side, but it looks okay. A little sloppiness, though, to the paintwork of the teeth on the lower jaw. You can see the paint is just kind of everywhere on the lower jaw, but it's not the end of the world. And of course the jaw does articulate pretty nicely. As you move back into the neck, you can see again we've got very bumpy, very rough and rugged skin texture for this one. You've got like osteoderms and stuff poking up here and there, almost like a armored crocodilian scoot-like appearance moving over the back of the neck. You also have some small ridges following along the spinal column. We do have articulation in the neck. It's a little stiff because I haven't moved it quite yet, but it moves pretty decently. It doesn't go down too far. That's about the furthest down that it's going to go. But it can go up pretty high and definitely can swivel, of course. No left or right movement, really. I mean, it kind of wiggles, but I don't think it's really meant to do that. But the articulation is okay in the neck region. You can see, again, that we have that green that we have for the upper part of the body here, kind of striping down, and we have the brown continuing to run along the underside. As we move down into the body, you can see the green continues to remain at the top of the animal, and the brown continues to remain at the bottom, but we do actually have the green creep in from the back here into the underside of the stomach of the figure. Moving down into the legs, you can see the legs look really quite nice when it comes to the muscle definition as well as the skin texture. You have a good bit of varying types of skin texture and scales there as you move down, kind of like almost a little bit more crocodilian on the back of the leg, and more traditional scaling here, I think, on the front of the leg. As you move down, you can see the foot is also sculpted quite nicely, and we have, unfortunately, no nail paint, but that's not something that's surprising. Overall, though, I think that looks really good. The detail is very vibrant. We do, of course, have articulation forward and back. doesn't really come out away from the body or anything, unfortunately. But as you move back into the stomach, again, you have all sorts of very rough and rugged, again, looking skin texture. I could just imagine this feeling very similar to an alligator if it were, right here in front of me and actually alive. The way that they've portrayed the skin texture on this one definitely has that look and feel. Even more so, again, as you move up here into the back of the figure, you can see moving down along the back that, again, it has a very crocodilian look to it. Running along the back, you start to see some ridges picking up, and they become bigger and bigger as you lead out into the tail, and they become actually significantly bigger at that point in time. Moving down into the thigh, you can see, again, we have the brown for the thigh. You also have kind of like some scoots there running along the front of the thigh. Again, larger scales in the center of the thigh, much finer scaling in the back. The muscle definition, again, is nicely defined in both the thigh and calf, and you can see the knee right there. Moving down, the foot sculpt also looks nice. You've got some scoots moving down the toes. And again, the nails sculpted nicely, but unfortunately unpainted. And then you move out into the tail, and at this point, the tail is completely that greenish tone. But again, it has that same type of skin texture we've seen through the course of the body, but it looks really good. It also has a nice curve to the tail, which is pretty cool. Something you don't always see would be sharp turns in the tails of figures like this from Mattel, but I think that looks really nice. Definitely helps to set it apart from some others. But on the underside, you see a very different type of skin texture. Again, very, I would say, crocodilian. Kind of reminds me of that same type of scales you would see on the underside of a crocodile or an alligator or something. On the opposing side, we really aren't going to see much of anything different outside of the positioning of the legs. You can see if we actually get them positioned correctly. There we go. The legs are just a little bit further apart on this side, but again, everything looks pretty much the same over here. Sculpt-wise, it is absolutely gorgeous, and honestly, I would say the same thing about the paint. Like, the paint on this is really nice. The only thing it's missing would be nail paint, but I feel like it is a fantastic figure overall. Also, I believe I failed to mention the remaining articulation, which of course would be the rear leg. You can go forward and back, and the swivel tail, which is pretty standard. And on top of that, we do also have the Jurassic World Facts app if you would like to add that one to your collection. But as far as a size goes, it's of course a Danger Pack. There's really only one size range for Danger Packs. We're going to have to go the other way because the tail curves in this direction. But for a length, if we go from the snout to the tail, about 7¼ inches, or around 18½ centimeters. And then for a height, the highest point currently would be the ridges there in the back of the tail. And you're looking at closing in on 3 inches, but not quite, or right around 7½ centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Muldoon, and the Collect A Human Being. And you can see that exactly as I mentioned, this figure is pretty much the exact size you would expect it to be in, the Mattel line. At this point, we've had so many figures in the Mattel line, especially in the Danger Packs, that we've always got a pretty good idea as far as the size of a figure when we see it coming. This is definitely another one of those situations. Like if you have the Postosuchus or anything like that, you're already going to know what the size is. Same size as those figures. For another size comparison to further show you that, you can see the Mattel Velociraptor and Dilophosaurus here, and you can see again, just like I said, the same size you would expect it to be in. And for one more comparison, we also have the Hammond Collection Dimetrodon that I felt like would be a fun one to bring in and again show you guys the fact that this is extremely similar in size to that figure. I don't really feel like we need any more comparisons because at this point we definitely know what the size is. Even, pulling out other species that are similar, it's just really going to be the same size as those. So if you already have those, you're definitely going to know what the size is of this one. So this brand new Mattel Jurassic World Chaos Theory Danger Pack Rauisuchus is definitely a very nice figure. I would say it's one of the best ones to come from the Danger Pack line in a long time. Like, I absolutely adore this figure. The sculpt is incredible, and I cannot wait to find another one of these. I will definitely be buying another one. Let's hope, fingers crossed, that this one doesn't become my new obsession. I've now finally moved on from the Lystrosaurus and Guanlong set, but I can see this one easily becoming my next obsession because, again, the sculpt is just so beautifully done, and I definitely want to get at least one more to repaint. But looking through the course of the figure in typical Mattel fashion, the detail is exceptionally vibrant. It just pops so nicely on the sculpt, which is always a great thing. And you can tell Mattel puts so much love and passion into the sculpts of their figures. Like, they go all out when it comes to the fine detail and all the different variation to the skin texture and scales and stuff that you see on their figures. It's always mind-blowing to me. I would say the Mattel figures are consistently the most highly detailed figures that we've ever had in any Jurassic line, and this definitely shows that off. On top of that, we have really nice paint apps for this one. The only thing missing on this would be painted nails, because outside of that, it has a fully painted look from head to tail. I think the colors that they've chosen are kind of flashy, but for the most part very naturalistic, which is really good. Definitely the type of colors I could see this creature being. I feel like if you applied some nail paint and maybe a dark wash, like, it's good. It's good to go. It already looks fantastic. And again, on top of all of that, you have articulation, which is always fun. A little limited when it comes to the neck moving down, but for the most part, the articulation is as smooth as you usually find on Mattel releases. So, absolutely another figure worth picking up. Definitely another figure, not just worth picking up, but I would say you really need to go search out because it is a gorgeous release. So, if you are interested, check your local Walmart because that's where I found mine. And of course, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.